when I lived down you, Daniel. Good morning. Good morning, beautiful Jubilee community. It's such another beautiful day to be alive in the Blue Ridge Mountains and for us to come together and share in this sacred space. I know we all miss each other as we come in and to the building and hug and say hi. And so now is our opportunity to do that in that virtual way. So if you don't have your video on, even if you're eating breakfast or taking a bike ride or in your PJs, really invite you to turn on your video by going to the lower left so we can see you and so we can have that connection. You can turn off your self view if you don't want to see you, but we want to see you. So now that we've all done that, go ahead and wave to the person in the box next to you and say, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Nice. And we're really encourage you to connect with each other during the celebration in the chat box. And at the end, then we have our breakout rooms. And so make sure you stick around for the breakout rooms so you can connect in a deeper way. So now I'm going to ask you to turn to another box and not just say hi to the person, but to bless that person in whatever ways that you bless people. We are often taught to count our blessings, whether we do or not might be another story. But when we actually do count our blessings, our lives seem to open up in magical ways. It's almost like just by paying attention, the blessings that we receive each day become bigger and our brains actually change. But I think we often forget that we're blessings too, that when we offer a smile or generosity or a helping hand or words of praise, or we bring food or flowers or sing a song or bring art, when we hold hands and listen to each other, share our strength, hope, and wisdom, that we bless, that these are the few of the ways that we quietly bless in the world. And it's sort of paradoxical, right? Because we count our blessings and we give blessings. And we also have to remember that everything already is a blessing, that everything's already blessed. And so by counting our blessings and by remembering that we're giving blessings, it's almost like we're pulling the thread out of the fabric, that everything already is a blessing, that we're pulling it out. Just like when you listen to a piece of music and you're like, ooh, can I hear the drum beat? And it suddenly gets louder and bigger and you're like, oh, there it is. And like, ooh, now I can hear the guitar. It's like by paying attention to the blessing that already is, we get to pull that out and it changes our life. And so today, that is what we're exploring, is being blessings, receiving blessings, and so much more. So with that, let's awake our souls. So Daniel, are you there?
Hello.
I'm unmuting you. What happened to you?
And my gosh. Oh yeah, that. Awake my microphone. Here we go. Awake my soul. Awake my soul. Awake my soul. You were made to meet your maker. You were made to meet your maker. You were made to meet your maker. Oh yeah. I'd like to just put out a little bit of a reminder to those of us who can use it, which is probably all of us on an ongoing basis, that the land that we live on here in Asheville, in this part of Western North Carolina, in this part of the state, is Cherokee land. And some of the struggles that we're going through now at this time in our lives with all of the things that have been happening in the streets in the last couple of months has brought Asheville to reevaluating and relooking at its history and relooking at how to honor its past. And I am just always deeply grateful that we at Jubilee have been blessed to have Yona Frenchhawk to come and celebrate this blessing that Jackie's talking about with us and to help bring this context and to help bring the wisdom of the Cherokee to our hearts and to our ears. So welcome, Yona.
Good morning, Jubilee, and thank you, Jackie, and thank you, Daniel. This morning I want to try something a little different. Instead of going in all the directions, how about we center and focus in solidarity and oneness in this time, instead of asking the ancestors to come? Because my elder was telling me this the other day. He said, it's kind of inconsiderate to ask the elders to come to you. Why don't you go to them? And he said in prayer, he said, one of the blessings is the ability to travel omnipresently, to be everywhere at once. Like Jackie was saying, everything's already blessed. And wherever we go, as long as we're in that balance. And in this time, I feel it's time for us to show up as a people. Solidify our energies and our efforts right now to bring a higher vibration into life. So if you will, just take a deep breath and ground yourself and know your root. Because the people of this land, we were talking in the meeting that, my ancestors don't speak English. My ancestors speak the wind. When the water running down the river, the animals calling out. This land was so rich with life and so many different Indian tribes. And Carrier Park was the place where all the Indian tribes, even the smaller tribes, would come together and have our tribal government meetings there. But we'd also have our Indian Olympics. We'd have canoe races. We'd have archery contests, foot races, stickball games. If there was a dispute over land or hunting ground, we would play a game of stickball. Or you get the fastest runner from your tribe and you get the fastest runner from your tribe, and whoever wins, that's who gets to hunt that land. We didn't go to war to kill one another. Those were our peaceful protests. So, ancestors, we ask you to receive us in a good way. We ask you to receive us in our love and our passion. We ask each and every one of you, all living beings of the earth and the sky and all the things amid the heart of Mother Earth, we ask that you recognize that we come as one people, one rainbow color and one indigenous tribe of the earth. We ask you to receive us in that way and to use our energy and our prayers in a good way to raise the vibration so that we can receive the future and the greatness and stand together with you, ancestors, side by side, and ask you to guide us into the brightness of that future and the goodness and the prayers and everything that we pray for and envision for the generations to come. Know that we've arrived to be of service to what comes next in the greatness of the future. And we are in awe and wonder to be standing next to you in a good way. Oh. Daniel?
Thank you, Yona. So, as we sing this next song, I invite you to look into the chat there. There's a link to give to the hunger baskets. This quarter, we are giving to racial equity organizations. And there's so much good work to do there, and every penny that you put in this moment will go to that work. So this is a fun little song. You may remember it from years ago. It was written by Harry Belafonte, and we're going to sing it. We're going to sing it through. It goes pretty quickly, and there's a one point where you do the chorus, and then we do it double time, and we will totally mess this up, and that will be just glorious. But it's really important for you to be singing this. It's fine to listen, but it's much better when you sing it. We We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. How was that? Let's do that again. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. We come from the water, turn the world around. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whee! Having fun yet? We come from the four winds, living in the four winds. Go back to the four winds, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoop!
That was great.
Okay, so let's see here.
Delia.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
So I'm really so excited that you're here today, Delia. It's going to be. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to share. She's got all kinds of Zumba color Christmassy thing. It's tough to tell what it is, but
every party at my house.
it's a party. It's a party. So
All right.
Welcome.
So I want to give a little blurb about this song, and this is from the artist who wrote the song. This song, oh, mute yourself, Daniel. This song was written about finding hope in any situation, about being present and joyful. See life as it is right now, and don't compare it to others' lives or other times in your life. Every moment in life is rich and unique, whether we are aware of it or not. We are always in the inescapable present moment. If we are wrapped up in our whirlpools of worry and concern about what could be or what has been, we are missing the richness of life as it is, which reminded me of blessings. So here we are. I mean, followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, leaping and hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. And if I ever lose my hands, lose my plow, lose my land, oh, if I ever lose my hands, oh, if I won't have to work no more. And if I ever lose my eyes, if my colors all run dry, if I ever lose my eyes, oh, if I won't have to cry no more. 'Cause I mean, followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, leaping and hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. And if I ever lose my legs, I won't moan and I won't beg. If I ever lose my legs, Oh, if I won't have to walk no more. And if I ever lose my mouth, all my teeth, north and south, if I ever lose my mouth, oh, if I won't have to talk no more. Did it take long to find me? I asked the faithful light. Did it take long to find me? And are you gonna stay the night? I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, leaping and hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow.
Oh, thank you, Delia. Thank you so much for blessing us with that song. Thank you for reminding us to leap and hop in the moon shadow. Breathe deeply. Let us do what we can, wrote the Unitarian Universalist minister, Forrest Church. Let us do what we can. Not dream impossible dreams or climb every mountain, but dream one possible dream and climb one splendid mountain, that our life may be blessed with attainable meaning. You know, what a relief it is to be blessed with what you can do today. That itself is not always easy, yet the simplicity of the possible leads to the dreams of the remarkable. We need not look further than the long gazes of our many heroes, who at the end of their days can be amazed at how long or how that they've been blessed to bless, how they have been blessed to bless countless souls, or even ourselves. When we turn off the lights at night, do you know that just by you being yourself, that you are a blessing? That you, Delia, or you, Pat, or you, Monica, you are a blessing. Don't think too hard about it. But you wouldn't be here if you weren't needed. This is one big holy ecosystem, and everything has its place. Yeah, even that thing that you were just thinking that seems out of place, it has its place too. God has it covered. Hear these parting words from John Lewis. Walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide. I can imagine no greater blessing than an invitation to peace, which comes as a legacy to good trouble. Bless up. You may use this time of prayer interactively, both inwardly or outwardly. You may pray with Jackie or Barbara in the chat. We are blessed to bless. We are blessed to bless. Breathe deeply. Daniel?
Well, let's, as we sing this song, reach out to the folks that you would say hi to, or that you might not even have the chance to say hi to if we were at Jubilee, because they might not even be in North Carolina right now. And here's a chance to say hi to folks in the chat as we sing. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. All right, say hey to folks. It's in every one of us. I just remembered, it's like I've been sleeping for years. I'm not awake as I can be, but my seeing's better. I can see through the tears. I am realizing that I bought this ticket and watching only half of the show. There is scenery and lights and a cast of thousands who all know what I know, and it's good that it's so. It's in every one of us. Sing along. To be wise. Singing makes a difference. Let's start that part over. I just want to encourage you to sing. I want to say a little something about that. It's not just about looking good for any of us. It's not about singing because everybody else is singing. It's not because singing because the teacher told you to sing. It's because singing because you can. Singing because you can. Give yourself that gift. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us by and by. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Daniel. And I know I don't want to omit any birthdays because there's probably a million, but I did know that it was Amanda Levesque's birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, Amanda. I saw you on the big screen there. So I invite you to hear these ancient words. Now, when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. And from the Buddhist scriptures, an excerpt from the Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and one who wishes to attain the state of peace and wisdom. Let one be capable, upright, exceedingly upright, easy to instruct, gentle, and humble. Let one be content, not a burden to others, but easily supported, with but few responsibilities, and living simply, with the senses composed and serene. Let one be prudent, courteous, not proud or demanding, unswayed by the emotions of others, and let one not commit the slightest wrong for which the wise would later reprove. Let one contemplate and wish. May all beings be well and safe. May all beings be happy. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium size, short, small, or large, those seen and those unseen, those dwelling near and far away, those born as well as those yet to be born, may all beings be happy at heart. This is ancient wisdom and holy word. Thanks be to all that is wise and holy. All creation is wisdom and holy word. All creation sings of wisdom and God. Hallelujah. Justin Martin. Justin Martin is a jubilant through and through. He is a Jubilee minister.
Good morning.
He is an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister. And he also preaches at a Presbyterian church. He covers all the bases. In fact, he just made my heart sing the last time he preached at Jubilee because he brought Lizzo into the house. I mean, that gets my booty moving. So without any further ado, I'm very thrilled that we're having Justin Martin bring us the message today. Let's roll.
Good morning. Welcome once again to my living room. It is what at least seems to be about the 200th week of being stuck in my home right now. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting a little grumpy about it. It's it's been a thing. I've been, essentially locked in here with my children, and we're all just a little more grumpy about everything than we used to be, and we're all, getting a little more cynical about all of it. Like my kids aren't going to be going back to school. I don't know, plenty of yours aren't either, and instead they're going to be here at home, and they're talking about, well, maybe they'll be back to school after Christmas or something like that, and my response has gone from an optimistic, oh, maybe, to a yeah, right. and that's like not a place I normally like to sit. I'm reminded of, I used to be, a long time ago, I used to live in New York. I used to be a youth minister there, and I lived with my best friend, Ed Delia, and we were both youth ministers together. And we decided we were going to take all the kids on a trip down to where I grew up, Marion, Virginia, and we're going to have them do a nice project there, and we were going to have them sleep in a church, and it was going to be this great affair. So we had this meeting with all the parents where we brought them all together, and we just let them ask questions and talk about how it was all going to work, because their kids had never been on a trip like this, certainly never been this far with their previous youth directors. And so we let them ask all their questions, and one woman raises her hand near the end of it and just says, "I'll tell you right now why this isn't going to work." And she's like, listen, the van, those 15 passenger vans, they all flip over.
Thing.
We can't. We
Right?
could never
Well,
fundraise enough money to
right.
fly down there, and
Yeah,
sleeping in a
Mad
church
libs.
is absolutely
Yeah,
not
Mad
acceptable for my children. So
Charades. We could do a little charades.
Okay.
Yeah, good point, Bruce.
Right.
What do you say?
He says, now we know what it's like for people with hearing difficulties when folks are wearing masks. It's like
Absolutely.
trying to how do you navigate? Right there, he looks curious. He's like, oh, yeah. Paul, it's that parrot you have that's been yelling at you all these years.
Saw it, yeah.
Mm.
As Jay was
Good morning.
doing his prayer, his meditation.
Let's all bless JR, by the way. He does a lot of great stuff behind the
He
scenes.
does.
Yes,
He's
Thank
amazing.
you, JR.
Rocking it. All right.
good
So
morning.
true, Delia.
There we go.
Welcome once again to my living room.
Nope.
It is what at least seems to be about the
No, let me try it from my computer. I'm gonna. Okay. We've done this so many times. Like, why? It's so funny. Why this time, right? Oh. Okay. Let's see. Try this.
Life.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome once again to my living room. It is what at least seems to be about the 200th week of being stuck in my home right now. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting a little grumpy about it. It's it's been a thing. I've been, essentially locked in here with my children, and we're all just a little more grumpy about everything than we used to be, and we're all, I don't know, getting a little more cynical about all of it. Like my kids aren't going to be going back to school. I don't know, plenty of yours aren't either, and instead they're going to be here at home, and they're talking about, well, maybe they'll be back to school after Christmas or something like that, and my response has gone from an optimistic, oh, maybe, to a yeah, right. And that's like not a place I normally like to sit. I'm reminded of, I used to be, a long time ago, I used to live in New York, and I used to be a youth minister there. And I lived with my best friend, Ed Delia, and we were both youth ministers together. And we decided we were going to take all the kids on a trip down to where I grew up, Marion, Virginia, and we're going to have them do a nice project there, and we were going to have them sleep in a church, and it was going to be this great affair. So we had this meeting with all the parents where we brought them all together, and we just let them ask questions and talk about how it was all going to work, because their kids had never been on a trip like this, certainly never been this far with their previous youth directors. And so we let them ask all their questions, and one woman raises her hand near the end of it and just says, "I'll tell you right now why this isn't going to work." And she's like, "Listen, the van, those 15 passenger vans, they all flip over, and we could never fundraise enough money to fly down there, and sleeping in church is absolutely not acceptable for my children. So this is never going to work." And that was the tone that she took. And I've always remembered that phrase. "I'll tell you right now, this is never going to work." It was a moment, and we, tried to diffuse that question. And luckily, most of the other parents did not have the same issues that she had with the trip, and the trip went off successfully. The van did not flip over. Sleeping in the church was fine, and everyone lived happily ever after. But that every time I get in that funk where I'm just like, "Oh," to everything, I remember that. "I'll tell you right now why this isn't going to work." There's a minister named Forrest Church who wrote a prayer many years ago about what he called sophisticated resignation. It's the idea that you can think, I'm so smart that I know that this is just never going to work out. And so rather than when approached with something you could be hopeful about, rather than actually being hopeful, you're just like, they'll never do that. I've seen everything and this is not going to work. And that way you kind of get like a twofer out of it. If this thing that you should be hopeful for happens, and you were all cynical about it, and it happens anyway, that's great. That thing that you wanted to be hopeful for happens. No big deal. But if the thing that you would have been hopeful for doesn't happen, then you were right. And that's kind of great too. And so that place of sophisticated resignation lets us sit in this like emotional distance from things where we're like, "Oh God, it's never going to work out." And so I'll read you a little bit of his prayer. His prayer says, "Let us awaken from the soul-crushing allures of sophisticated resignation and cynical chic, to savor instead the world of abundance and possibility that awaits just beyond the self-imposed limits of our imagination." And I think about that prayer, and that it is a very alluring place to be, and like this cynical place of like, I'm above it and I think that stuff's never going to happen. And what we're talking about today is essentially the opposite of that, of living in a mindset of blessing, rather than looking at things and saying, "I'll tell you right now why that isn't going to work." Instead, we're going to look at things and, try to see this as a world that is full of blessings. And so this thing that's coming, and even the possibility of something to be hopeful for, is in and of itself a blessing. And so our scriptures today, we have two. The first was from the Sermon on the Mount. And this is where Jesus is talking to a large group of people. This is pretty much the only like real sermon that we get that's both in Matthew and Luke, where he's talking to all these people, and he begins with these blessings. Blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek. And what he's doing is he's giving blessings and blessing people who do not feel blessed. These are the poor that are sitting around and looking for someone to save them. And he is saying that they are blessed, which is just not a thing that they would expect in any way. So he's turning around this idea of blessings, because to them, the expectation would be that people who are blessed are people who are doing well. and they are not doing well. And so by definition, they would not be blessed. Our second scripture of the day, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but I'll do the best I can, is the Karanya Metta Sutta, which is a Buddhist scripture. And Sutta is like teaching, and Karanya means this is what should be done. And Metta is the word they use for loving kindness in the Pali tradition. So it's essentially, this is what should be done to develop loving kindness. And the story of this is, I think, really cool. And that is that a group of monks, and you know, this is one of those stories that might be true, but it's probably just the story that goes along with it. But the story that goes along with it is a group of monks were frightened by sprites in the forest where the Buddha asked them to meditate. And when the monks asked for the Buddha's aid in dealing with the sprites, the Buddha taught the monks the Metta Sutta as an antidote to their fear. And the monks recited that sutta over and over and felt better. And then their feeling better worked so well that it quieted the sprites around them and made the sprites feel better. And so I'll read you just a little bit of that. This is such a blessing here. It says, in the gladness, or wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living things there may be, the great or mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Really love that blessing. And I have brought with me a blessing for all of you. I have a special guest star today. We have Jane Kramer, who is yet another awesome Warren Wilson College graduate and a musician right there from Asheville, who's going to be joining me today to play some music for you all. So Jane, why don't you talk about for a second who you are and what you're going to play?
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Justin. This is a blessing for me. It's a bright spot in my week. And as you mentioned, I had the honor of attending Warren Wilson with your lovely wife, Jessica. And you and I never quite got to meet. I think we just crisscrossed. But I feel like I know you, and I'm a huge fan. So I am a singer-songwriter. I started my love of music as a young child. I came from a musical family, and really kind of got to nurture and hone my skills when I was at Warren Wilson. And my degree from Warren Wilson is in social work and women's studies, which I've done professionally for a handful of years, but always had a love for music, and just sort of made the shift to doing music full time and touring all over doing it about 5 years ago. So here I am in Asheville in my living room, as all of us are. My life looks a little different now because of the pandemic, so grateful to be able to share music like this. And so when Justin approached me about sharing some music with you all today, this song kind of, when he let me know about the theme of blessings, which I think is something so important for us all to sort of just focus and reflect on right now. This song of mine came immediately to mind. And little story behind it is that I had left Asheville after a lot of heartbreak. My marriage, after a long time, broke up. The band I was part of broke up in a painful way. My dearest friend passed away, and I lost my job all within about a 6-month period. And I moved across the country to try to just heal and get some space. And but I missed Asheville the whole time. These mountains are just my dirt. And when I started feeling the stirrings of, can I return home? And I felt like that was on the horizon for me. I took a beautiful trip to Italy and got to meet a songwriter that I've long admired, and received some, face-to-face mentorship from her. And she heard my music and told me that it was deliciously self-deprecating. And she challenged me to write a song in which I forgive myself and recognize that I do hold love for myself, even when I don't feel it or see it. And so she challenged me to write my hymn, whatever that meant for me, and to really attempt to love myself and be aware of the blessing that I myself am in this song. And I was in this incredibly gorgeous place. I was on a mountaintop in Italy. It doesn't get much prettier than that. And the fireflies were out, and there's olive trees. And I had a really, really stark realization that I couldn't even absorb these blessings around me without first realizing that I myself is a blessing and my life is a blessing. And a little shift happened inside me, and I did feel a little more of that love and was able to soak in more of the love around me. And it's been a beautiful lens to look through from then forward, to be like, you know, how can I be a blessing today? And so here's my hymn. My hippie mama didn't make me go to church, but I find God in the fireflies and digging through the dirt. I can't sit in no office chair, I got grass stains on my shirt. Or my hippie mama didn't make me go to church. So I ain't wasting time in a scratchy Sunday dress. I'll be wearing thin this tattooed skin, whatever time I've got left. And before I meet my maker, I wanna make something of this mess. But I ain't wasting time in a scratchy Sunday dress. Now I'm done calling in love when it's just bruises on my thighs, and I'm done drinking to numb that lonely stepped on child. I am the olive leaf, I am her silver underside. I am the ember of God, lights up the firefly.
Thank you, Jane. That was beautiful. And I love that image of the ember of God that lights up the fireflies. You know, there are all these little things like that that are such a blessing. Last year, I got to take my kids to go see a place up in the Blue Ridge Mountains where there were just a ton of fireflies, and they were lit up by how wonderful it was to see that little bit of light flashing off in the darkness, like the little bits of things that we can see around us that bless us, you know. And so I was thinking about this idea of blessing, and I think there are three major ways that we can embrace blessing. And the first is just to recognize that this life that we're living in and of itself is a blessing from God. That this, you know, it's easy to look at the things that are happening right now and see, you know, what is hardest on you and what is most pressing in terms of like, what am I worried about right now, and miss all of the things around us that are, you know, that are there to bring us joy. You know, like I was just kind of lamenting with my wife a couple of days ago that I think I spend all my time cleaning up after my children and not getting to play with my children, you know, and so I'm missing that blessing of this time. Like I just want to go outside and throw a baseball or something like that. But instead I'm picking up kinetic sand in the floor or something like that, you know. And so trying to see this world and this life that we have as a blessing is one of the great ways we could embrace blessing that would help change the way we see the world around us. And the second one, and I think this is a kind of a hard one to think about, was to embrace the idea that we are able to give blessings to others. And I know, like, especially with ministers, that there's like this idea of like some people can bless people. but some people can't bless people. And I don't think that's how God works. You know, I don't think any of us have the like laser beam hands where we can go and make like a blessing happen for someone. The reality is that we can use our words and we can use our presence, or we could use a card or a call to show someone that we recognize that ember of God that is inside them. You know, that the blessing of God that is already there. And we can give someone that gift of just recognizing that we see that and that we feel that they are blessed. And the third way, while I think it makes a little more sense, but it might just be the hardest. And that is what Jane was talking about, this recognizing that we are indeed a blessing. That, you know, it's very easy to look at someone else and think that person is a good person, that person is a blessing. It is very hard to look at yourself, knowing what you know about who you are, and to say, I am a blessing too. But I think that is what God calls us to do. Each and every one of us was frightfully and wonderfully made. And we are called to recognize that and live by that blessing that we have been giving in ourselves in this life. Jane, you want to play a little more for us?
Just had to get out of my own way to find my home. It was right here in my guitar, been rubbing against it all along. It didn't take a lover to put me back inside my bones. Just had to get out of my own way to find my home. And now I'm gonna swing this hammer like you ain't never seen. I've got railroad ties and jasmine vines on the walls of my dreams. I've spent years apologizing for a heart that's true and clean. And now I'm gonna swing this hammer like you ain't ever seen. And I'm done calling it love when it's just bruises on my thighs. And I'm done drinking to numb that lonely stepped-on child. I am the olive leaf, I am her silver underside. I am the ember of God, lights up the firefly.
Now, John O'Donohue wrote a book called To Bless the Space Between Us several years ago. And in it, he had a blessing that he used to begin each day for himself. And I'm going to read that to you now. His blessing was, may I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. It is time to let go of fear and let go of cynicism and distance and embrace this idea of blessing. We are blessed, even in the midst of this coronavirus moment and this social upheaval moment. We are blessed to go through this, to find our way through this, to help, I think, bring us to a place that is better at the end of this. And it might feel good to say, I'll tell you right now why this isn't going to work. But it is important to move past that, to hope, to be willing to say, I don't know if this thing's going to happen. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I bless us, and I bless me, and I bless this world in moving toward something better. I have faith that God is with us, that we are not alone, and we're going to find a way through. You are called to live a life that is a blessing. not only to you, but a blessing to others around you. As James says, you are the ember of God that lights up the fireflies. Now, this would not be a sermon about blessing people without giving it a shot. So, Jane, if you're ready, I'm going to give you a blessing. Does that work for you?
I love it.
All right. Jane, may you have the courage today to live the life that you would love, to postpone your dream no longer, but do at last what you came here for and waste your heart on fear no more.
Can I bless you back?
Yes.
Okay, Justin, may you have the courage today to live the life that you would love, to postpone your dream no longer, but do at last what you came here for and waste your heart on fear no more.
Thanks, Jane. All right. And to all of you out there, this one is for you. May you have the courage today to live the life that you would love, to postpone your dream no longer, to do at last what you came here for and waste your heart on fear no more. Now get out there and swing your hammer. Jane?
Now I'm gonna swing this hammer like you ain't never seen. I got railroad ties and jasmine vines on the walls of my dreams. I've spent years apologizing for a heart that's true and clean. But now I'm gonna swing this hammer like you ain't ever seen. And I'm done calling you love when it's just bruises on my thighs. And I'm done drinking to know that lonely step-down child. I am the olive leaf, I am her silver underside. I am the ember of God, lights up the fireflies.
Thanks, Jane. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have fun.
Thank you, Justin Martin. He's so brilliant. He's not here today because he is doing his own celebration in Charlotte. So that's why he pre-recorded. And it was so nice to have that music put through. So now we move into that lovely time called Jubilee in Action, where we get to bless so many others. And before we do, you can imagine that we're sitting in this beautiful space in downtown Asheville with a globe in front of us, and the lights are a little dim and the banners are on the wall, and we pass the bowls around because this place called Jubilee, this thing called Jubilee, this community called Jubilee means something to us. And we want to sort of practice that sacred reciprocity of this place that we get to go to be inspired, these people that we get to work together with to make the world a better place, that this idea that started 30 years ago continues to next week and next month and next year and the next decade. And the only way that that can happen is if you show up and if you give some money. And so there's lots of different ways to give right now. You can text, which is super easy. You can download an app called Give Plus, and you can put in our zip code 28801 and then find Jubilee. You can go online. You can pledge, which is just automatic withdrawal, and you can do that on the website. But that's the only way Jubilee exists is through donations and through every one of you showing up. So whether it's $5 or $500, it all matters right now. So thank you for doing that. So as Jubilee continues into the world, we get to talk about some of the things that we do. And one of the things that we are doing right now is making some transitions. And we're really excited. Many of you have heard by now that Laura Collins will be joining Jubilee as our Minister of Transition. Laura is an ordained Presbyterian minister, and she just brings a wealth of experience and knowledge in supporting faith communities during times of transitions. So you probably know her through wise and heartfelt, inspiring messages, as she's been on the celebration turn list for the last several months. And she's also been a dedicated jubilant for many, many years. But perhaps most importantly, she brings wisdom, compassion, and leadership during an era when Jubilee is in transition and when our nation and our world is as well. So right after next Sunday's celebration on August 9th, we will officially be welcoming Laura as our Minister of Transition. It'll be a virtual gathering that will happen right after the celebration. And you'll have a chance to speak with Laura, and she'll have a chance to speak with us, and you can ask questions that you might have. So make sure you schedule a little bit of extra time next week so that we can all welcome Laura together. A couple of other things about Jubilee in action. Jubilee has always celebrated creativity, and each week as part of the celebration, people from the community come together and offer their creative gifts of song, poetry, dance, story. So if you would like to offer a gift in the coming weeks, please let me know. You can check out the seeds for celebration that give you the theme, and we'll get you on. It'll be lots of fun. We're also really working to create more community outside of Sunday, and getting really inventive with how we do that right now. So if you want to be one of those people getting inventive together about how we can continue to create community and connection, please let me know, or Warren know as well. We're both working on that. And then to create a little bit of joy and humor, we are also inviting you to submit your 1 to 2 minute funniest home videos, and we'll start showing those next week. So. And then there's lots of social justice actions that you can get involved in, from calling your city officials about the new budget aimed at supporting communities, to affordable housing, to COVID support. And so there's a link in the chat button of all the ways that you can get involved with that, and make sure you sign up to vote by mail as well. So I'm not sure we have a link for that, but you can just go to your voter registration. So those are just a few of ways that you can get involved and be part of supporting this amazing community, and supporting the larger community. And with that, we will dedicate all of these gifts, including our gifts of money, to the holy. Daniel?
Oh yeah, we are here. We are here for all of us. We are here for all of us. That's why we are here. Why we are here. Sing along, we are here. Oh yeah, we are here for all of us. Yeah, we are. We are here for all of us. That's why we are here. Why we are here. We are here. Yeah, we are.
Woohoo! So as we go out into our week, we ask the questions: what if we lived our lives as if the world was abundant and as if the world was a blessing? How would it change your life if you lived as if you were a blessing, as if you were to postpone your joy no more and do at last what you came here to do, as if you were an ember of God? So with that, we will end our celebration with the cacophony of chaos, and then we'll send you into your chat rooms. It's always such a sweet, lovely place where you can share some of this week, maybe you share some of your stories about being blessed or giving blessings, or what it would like to live your life as if you were a blessing. So I'm going to unmute you all as you are ready for the cacophony of chaos, and ready, Daniel, as you take us away.
All right, embers of God, here we go.
I know, it's muted.
Yeah, darling, gonna make it happen.
How you doing?
Take the world in a love embrace. Fire all of the guns at once and explode into space.
Awesome.
Here we go. Like a true child, you were born wild. Can climb so high, I never wanna fly. I'm born to be wild. Born born to be.
Yeah.
I didn't hear a whole lot of singing there. I think we should do that again, don't you, Jackie?
Totally.
I didn't hear a lot of singing there. I saw a lot of people like staring at the camera. What's that about? Yeah, darling, gonna make it happen. Take the world in a love and sing out. Come on, fire all of our guns at once and explode into space. Yeah, like a true nature's child. We were born to be wild. Ow, we could fly so high. Never wanna die. Born to be wild. Like that, yeah. Born to be wild. Ow! Okay.
Now we will go into our breakout room.
Oh, you think so?
You all,
Not too many boys. Ladies.